Join us today as we go to the Hub City Urban Farm. This is a place inside the Spartanburg city limits where folks can come and grow vegetables and pick vegetables. Look how they're doing their cucumbers, Alex.
That's smart.
It is smart. Oh yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Wow. That's very clever. Oh, look at their tomatoes.
Oh, look. Sons.
Tons and tons and tons of tomatoes.
I even seen tons.
Yeah. Man. These are tomatoes over here.
Oh, look.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be carrots.
Wow, that's amazing.
Massive.
Ready in a couple, like a week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look how they did their cucumbers back there.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot of corn stalk.
We got some more tomatoes. Look, these are the big tomatoes, Alex.
And that's corn right there.
Yeah, corn stalk. More tomatoes.
This looks like squash or zucchini.
Irrigation.
Squash, look.
Oh, wow, just like ours.
We got the corn.
See how they got the. What is that over there? Is that apples or oranges?
Apples.
It's a nice farm out here. This is some kind of,
How does this work? You just pick what you want?
I don't know. Herbs. Oh, these are berries, like blackberries. Oh yeah, look at that. It's a blackberry. These are going to be beans. This looks like more tomatoes. It's a nice big garden. They have a greenhouse.
Beans.
Those are beans, Alex. They have some flowers. Were those some kind of fruit trees?
There's a big tree back in the corner if you want to look at what it looks like.
Okay.
There's something behind it. I don't know what it is.
I'm not sure what these beds. What are these going to be? Look at those tomatoes. They're getting big. Oh, it's an apple tree. Look.
One of them confused me because they have rings inside them.
Well, those are worms. That's a worm. Yeah. Wow. Wonder what these are.
Figs.
Oh, they are figs. Look. You can see the figs growing. That's a very short fig tree. And some more fruit trees over here. Wow. That's pretty cool. Let's go this way and see what's over here. Looks like some kind of lettuce. Oh, that's a pepper plant. What is this?
No clue.
It's got to be some kind of lettuce or cabbage or spinach or something. Oh look, there's a carrot. That is the strangest looking plant. Oh, interesting. This looks like some kind of parsley. That's cute. Be kind. Here's some of the produce they picked. Oh wow, look, it's onions.
Oh yeah, just like we found in our garden.
That's right. It's a pretty big garden, isn't it? They got more corn growing over there. All right, you guys, it's been about 5 weeks since we planted our garden. And let's take you through it. We have 8 rows. This first row is tomatoes, and you can see some of them are just starting to flower. And they're pretty tall. They're about as high as my hip right now. So we put the tomato cages on them to hopefully prevent some breakage. And then at the end of our first row, we planted some beets. So we have, looks like about 6 beets that are coming up, that have germinated. And we'll see how those do. For our second row, this part down here was supposed to be lettuce. As you can see, nothing came up. So we're gonna replant some things there. In the meantime, we have a few carrots that have come up really well, and I planted a whole ton more carrots this morning, so hopefully in about 10 days we'll see this whole area on this row 2 flooded with carrots. Also, we planted some flowers because we want to attract the bees, and you got to have fruit and have them pollinated, so we wanted the bees, and I already see a few bees floating around, so hopefully it worked. And I planted some more carrots here. And here we have our broccoli. Our broccoli is looking really big and really pretty. It looks like this one got eaten a little bit. So we did spray it with some neem oil a couple nights ago. So hopefully whatever bugs were eating it have moved on. But that's gonna be our broccoli. That's in our second row. And down here at the end, cut the tip off of an onion and planted it. So I'm gonna see if we get an onion soon. Now our third row was supposed to be peppers, but for some reason only 2 of them emerged. So I planted a lot more peppers this morning. Hopefully in about 10 days you'll see a lot more peppers come up and germinate down through this row. And down here, we did plant spinach, it never did germinate. So instead, I planted some radishes this morning. So this third row, the second half of the third row, will have some radishes. Let's go to our fourth row now. Our fourth row, we did have Brussels sprouts. They never germinated. So I planted potatoes. And I've already healed them up. So hopefully this will grow us some potatoes. They haven't sprouted yet, but I expect them to any day. And over here, we have another little flower to attract bees. And then we planted some eggplant. They have just started to emerge. So it looks like I have 2 or 3 eggplants that are just emerging. Now our fifth row, again we have some flowers in there, but these are squash. This is our summer squash, our yellow summer squash. And it was planted from seed. I did not start these in the greenhouse. But interestingly enough, I can already start seeing some summer squash starting to grow a little bit. Right, there's one underneath there. So just within 5 weeks, these have just taken off. They're huge now. So I expect this whole entire row of summer squash to do really well. Again, we put some little flowers in between just to draw those bees. Now these cantaloupes I did plant early on in May, and then I transplanted them here. There's two. They haven't gotten quite as big as some of the other plants, but I'm hoping that they still do okay. I don't know how long they take to grow, but I do already see the first little tiny yellow flower on it. The rest of this entire row here is pumpkins. Now the pumpkins are getting bigger. I don't see any flowers on them yet either. And they have lots of little flying bugs on them. I don't know what's up with that. So hopefully that neem oil I sprayed a couple nights ago will take care of all these little flying insects that are around them. We put another pot of flowers out here as well. Our seventh row is our cucumbers. Now we did try to build a little bit of a trellis system here, and they have just taken off this week. So hopefully we can start guiding them up and make kind of a trellis here for them out of some stakes and some string. Lots of yellow flowers on the cucumbers, but I haven't seen a cucumber form yet. So hopefully those will come soon. That entire row, 7, is cucumbers. Now our 8th row is our zucchini or courgettes, and they have exploded. These things are so tall. They've gotten really, really big and fluffy. The entire row is zucchini. Has lots of flowers on them, and in fact, I've already seen our first zucchini right down here. So it's growing, and I have a feeling there's going to be more in the next week or two as well. So our very first fruit is going to be a zucchini, and I think there's going to be a few more. There's another one coming on. So hopefully they'll produce lots of fruit and vegetables for us. So that's our update on our garden, and getting the weeds out of here has been a challenge. Having to go through and get all the grass and the weeds out between the rows. But yeah, it's looking really good. So we actually have a real garden. So I can't wait to see the tomatoes come up and the broccoli come up and see what happens there. So stay tuned. There's more to come. All right, so I made a list so I wouldn't forget what all I've grown and when I planted it. But back in May, we seeded some things in containers in our little greenhouse. We started with cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots, zucchini, cantaloupe, and broccoli. And about a month later, we transplanted all of those plants in our new garden. And we direct planted some squash and pumpkins and peppers. The onions, lettuce, spinach, and Brussels sprouts never came up. They did not germinate well, so the direct plant was not a good idea for those. And then June 24th, we fed the plants, gave them some plant food, and we planted directly beets, eggplant, and the end off of one onion and some more carrots. And then in a bag outside, we planted some potatoes. So that was June 24th. And then July 1st, we planted potatoes directly in the ground. And we also did some powder because we saw quite a few grub worms and other bugs out there. So we treated the garden with that. And then July 6th, we did the neem spray. We had a lot of flying insects that were out there, kind of the biting insects, so we sprayed for that. And then on July 8th, we planted directly carrots, peppers, and radishes. All right, so I drew a layout of our garden, and we have 8 rows, and I drew on here tomatoes and beets are in the first row. Then we have that one onion, and then broccoli and carrots are in the second row. The peppers and radishes are in the 3rd row. Potatoes and eggplant are in the 4th row. Squash is the 5th row. 2 cantaloupe, and then the rest are pumpkins in that 6th row. Cucumbers are in the 7th row, and zucchini is in the 8th row. So that's our layout for this year, and probably change it up quite a bit next year, but we'll see how it does for now. And if you're wondering how the deer are staying out of the garden, the little machines that we bought that kind of send out that ultrasonic sound or whatever that is, the deer don't like it. They just kind of stop and look and they keep going. So this was taken right after we planted, but we've had several deer stop by as well, and none of them have eaten from the garden yet. So that is a win. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.